everyone, thank you for joining the 10th video that I'm making during these strange and uncertain times. I'm very glad that you're joining me today. Welcome if it's your first time, welcome back if you've been following along throughout the last several weeks. A quick reminder for everyone, you've probably heard it before, I'm offering these classes on a donation basis. All of the information for donating dollars or euros is underneath the video. Please feel free to leave a donation if it's comfortable for you during this time, and not if it's not. And either way, please enjoy the practice today. We're going to start in a child's pose. So if it's comfortable for the knees, we're going to start with the knees quite wide. So about as wide as your mat, feet are together. If that feels like a lot of pressure on the knees, you can bring the knees together. Having narrow legs will be a bit more of a low back opener, whereas wide knees will help sink into the hips, starting to open the hips a bit. So wherever feels most comfortable for you, we'll begin with the arms outstretched. So already, in this first posture, beginning to melt into the space underneath the arms. And with that sense of surrender under the arms, maybe you can carry a sense of surrender into the rest of the body, and letting that translate as well into any thoughts that you're having, any plans that you're making, any sort of rewinding and remembering situations that have already happened. So for the next several breaths, just settling into the position you're in, taking stock of the space around you, noticing any sounds around you, close or far away, maybe even any smells or tastes. So you're really recognizing all of the senses. And doing so without trying to analyze or over-process the information that you're receiving, but recognizing sort of in a neutral manner, anything that it is that you recognize. Not passing any judgment. And you're actually not aiming for anything in particular here. Not aiming for a certain kind of breath, not aiming for a certain sensation. Getting used to this idea of sitting with what you have. So we can work with what we're working with. Notice as the breath starts to slow a bit. It's not just getting slower, but really think of it as getting deeper. So it's reaching every nook and cranny in the body. If a little bit of movement encourages the deepening of the breath, you can find that movement. If you prefer stillness, then really settling in to your stillness. So it's always crucial in a yoga practice, especially these self-led home practices, that you recognize the line between pain and something that might be slightly out of your comfort zone. So pain should be obvious, you should listen to it, you should always adjust accordingly. Don't push through pain. So if you're feeling pain in your knees here, please find another alternative. But maybe what you feel is a sensation of approaching areas that you haven't met before. If you feel you can do so relatively comfortably, I encourage it. Continuing deep breaths, letting the hips open, the low back open, the armpits open. As you're ready, lifting the forehead away from the floor, so you look toward your fingertips, coming up onto your fingertips, and just crawl the fingertips a little further out so you feel that extended stretch along the rib cage. Stay on your fingertips, let the forehead find the mat again. That's a very subtle shift, but hopefully you feel that activation, the muscles awakening a bit from the rib cage to the fingertips, maybe all the way down to the hip crease. Inhale, lifting the forehead, looking toward the fingers again. This time flatten out the hands. We'll shift forward. Bringing the knees closer together if they're wide, onto hands and knees, tabletop position. A nice wide stance, knees hip distance apart. And we'll take a little rock forward and backward. So without dropping the pelvis too much in either direction, starting to wake up the wrist joints. And at the same time, you can feel how the shoulders are incorporating onto the back. So the whole arm working to connect with the back muscles, the abdominal muscles supporting. You see how the whole body works in harmony as one big machine. And coming back to a neutral position. Deep breath in to lower the belly, head and tail lift to the sky, cow pose. Exhale, press the floor away, cat pose. Inhaling, heart lift, head and tail lift. Exhale to curve the spine, once more in each direction. Using that nice deep breath that you found. And when you're ready, coming back to a neutral spine, head and tail reaching away from each other. Pouring your weight slightly forward onto your hands. We're going to bring the knees and feet really tight together to touch. And then wave the feet right and left. So sort of like a windshield wiper, or suddenly the image of a mermaid tail popped into my mind. So the feet are moving as one unit. And you let the side body curve a bit. So you make a little C curve from side to side. The next time that the feet come to the right, leave them down. So your head, your ear kind of curving toward the right side. Walking your left fingers out on a diagonal toward the front of the mat. You can start to bend the right elbow. And lengthening the heart toward the floor. So you're really feeling a stretch on the left side of the body. Pressing down to come up, back through center. And then swing both heels to the left side. So if you're looking from a bird's eye view, you're making a C with the body, or now it's a backwards C. Reaching the right fingers forward out on a diagonal, and the deeper you go, the more you can bend that left elbow. Stay up on those fingertips, feel that side body stretching. Inhale, coming back to center, feet back to the middle, tucking your toes. Press the floor away, round the back as if you're coming to cat pose, and the knees will hover just away from the mat. Staying here for 3 breaths. Hollow out the back, the belly. Breathing in and out. Once more, inhaling and exhaling. Knees lower, toes point, nice and slow. Your chest will lower all the way down to the floor. Really controlled. Heels and toes together behind you. Let the hips rock a little side to side. Pressing into the tops of the feet, sliding fingertips forward, we come to a Sphinx pose. So in this Sphinx, important that you're not sinking down into the shoulders, that you're really pressing down into the elbows and forearms so that you're standing as tall as you can. The kneecaps might even lift away from the floor behind you. As you exhale, look gently over the right shoulder toward your toes. Find that same kind of side curve back through center and to the left. In through center to the right. And center, left. And center, coming back through center, press into the right hand. We'll start to straighten the right arm as you look over your right shoulder. This might be enough for you for the lower back. If you'd like to come a little further, threading the left arm underneath, gonna bend that right elbow. So here you see my right side of the body is lifting. Go ahead and roll onto the belly, bring your forehead to the floor. You should be feeling an opening around your left shoulder, maybe even all the way down your left arm. Really let the body get heavy and fall into the mat. Pressing to the right hand, kick your right heel toward your butt, and then kick it back behind you. So your foot lands on the floor behind you, letting your right hand come to the heart. So right now your knee's pointing up to the sky. With an exhale, let the knee fall in toward the midline, internally rotating that right leg. It might not go very far. It might lay flat across the floor. Wherever you are, try to feel 2 shoulder blades on the floor. Deep breath in. Really let that knee get heavy. A deep internal rotation. Look over your left shoulder. Kick off your right foot, come back through center. Press into the hands, bring both hands onto the floor, forehead to the mat, little rock with your hips. And once again, slide the fingers forward for Sphinx pose. Engage the legs, kneecaps lift. Press into your left hand, look over your left shoulder as your left arm straightens. Deep breath in. Thread the right hand beneath the left arm, slide it out long until that right shoulder finds the floor. And then rest the forehead on the mat. So with the weight of your torso, you're stretching, opening that right shoulder. Deep breath in. Really drop the weight of your chest and your head. Pressing into your left hand, kick your left heel toward the pelvis. Kick it all the way back behind you until your foot steps onto the mat. Left hand slides over the heart. Feel the weight of the hand, releasing the weight of the heart into the floor. And then that left knee falls in toward the midline. So you have that internal rotation of the left leg. A little bit of a quad stretch, a bit of a hip stretch. Deep breath in. And out, look over the right shoulder, kick back onto your belly, 2 hands under the shoulders. We come to Bhujangasana, cobra pose. Press down to lift the heart. Maybe it's just a baby cobra to begin, or maybe you feel ready to lift a little higher. Exhale, forehead to the floor, heels fall open, gentle rock with the hips side to side. Release any tension in the low back. We'll step the fingers wider, about as wide as your mat, maybe even a little wider. Coming onto fingertips, press the tops of the feet into the floor. Kneecaps lift away from the mat so the legs are super engaged for a wider cobra pose. Shoulders sliding away from the ears. And release, toes tuck. Bring the heels and toes together. Sit the hips back toward the heels. And as you arrive, widen the knees again. So we're in that wide child's pose. This time the toes are tucked underneath. Walking the hands back toward the pelvis, come to sit on the heels. So again, the knees stay wide, toes are tucked under. This can be quite an intense sensation for the feet. This is this moment. If it's pain, you come out. If it's slight discomfort or unfamiliarity, see if you can stay with the sensation. Drop the weight of your pelvis. Go ahead and flip the palms up to the sky, resting on your thighs for 3 more breaths. In through the nose. You can let the eyes close as you exhale. Deep breath in. Softening into the sensation rather than trying to fight it. Recognize what you're feeling. And when you're ready, walk the hands forward. Point the toes, bring the knees together. Tap the feet a bit to get the blood flowing back into the feet. We'll tuck the toes, arriving in Adho Mukha Svanasana. So soft, downward facing dog. Leave the knees as bent as you need or want. The head is hanging, shoulders are spiraling outward away from each other. Deep breath in, lift both heels high. Exhale, heels lower to the mat. Twice more. So we're just activating the feet, the ankles, all of those little bones, joints in the feet. Waking them up. Next time the heels lift on an inhale. As you exhale, bend the right knee. Keep bending it, bend it, bend it, bend it until the knee comes to the floor. Left leg lifts as the chest lifts. Exhale, knee to the nose, round the back. Inhale, extend left leg, extend the heart forward. Left foot finds the floor. Press into the hands, arriving near downward facing dog. Inhale, heels lift. Exhale, left knee bends, bends, bends until it reaches the floor. Inhale, right leg lifts as the heart peels forward. Exhale, knee to nose. Inhale, extend, ball of the foot finds the floor. Exhale, down dog. We'll take this on each side once more. Inhale, heels lift. Exhale, right knee lowers to the mat. Inhale, extend. Exhale to round. Inhale, extend, ball finds the floor. Exhale, push the floor away, down dog. Inhale, heels lift. Exhale, left knee lowers. Inhale, heart and back leg lift. Exhale, curve the spine, look toward your knee. Inhale, extend. Foot finds the floor, downward dog. Staying here for a few breaths. Adjusting anything that feels necessary to adjust.
And then commit to a few moments of stillness, settling in. Soft knees, look forward, take a slow walk with your feet all the way to the top of your mat. As you arrive, walking your feet out as wide as the mat, we'll take a little twist in a forward fold. The right knee softens, maybe even bends fully. Right hand finds the left ankle, crossing the body. This might be enough for you. Maybe you want to peel the left fingertips open to the sky. You can add your gaze to the fingers if it's comfortable on the neck. Release that left hand down. We'll switch sides. Soften or bend the left knee. Staying here or releasing right fingers toward the sky. Exhale, release, two hands find the floor. Swivel the feet back in toward one another, about hip distance apart, parallel. Let the knees bend, holding onto opposite elbows with the hands for an even deeper surrender into a forward hang. Either stillness here or a little encouraging sway from side to side. Let the elbows go. Soft knees, begin to roll up to stand, nice and slow. As you arrive in Tadasana, fingertips reaching down, head reaching high, taking a few full breaths to really find that rhythm of the breath. See if you can commit to this rhythm of the breathing as you move through the practice. Watch as it shifts, recognize when you can deepen, when you're starting to shorten the breath. Just really becoming familiar with your own patterns. That's what's interesting about the breathing. It doesn't have to be the same as mine. With an inhale, arms floating overhead, hanging onto the left wrist with your right hand. So you really grab onto your wrist, pulling left fingertips up and eventually over to the right side as you tip your upper body to the right. Inhale through center, switching sides. Hold onto your right wrist and reach up and over to the left side. As you move left, really root down through your right heel, the opposite heel. In through center, once again, each side. Exhale, bending to the right side, root into your left heel. Inhale through center. Use a breath out to bow the body to the left. Inhale, arms high, release the hands. Exhale, hands to the heart, Anjali Mudra. Connecting the energy from right and left sides of the body, right at the midline. Deep breath in, arms reaching high. Exhale, diving forward over bent or straight legs, Uttanasana, forward fold. Inhale to your long flat back, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, release, stepping the feet back one by one, we arrive in a plank pose. Take a deep breath in through the nose. As you exhale, lower the knees gently, and then nice and slow with control. Elbows hug the rib cage as you go down, lowering the chest. Inhale, heart floats forward, Bhujangasana, Cobra, and release. Toes tuck, hips arrive high as the head hangs low in your downward facing dog. Deep breath in and out 3 times, listening to your breath. As you're ready, bend the knees, look forward, and walk the feet to reach the hands. Soft bend in the knees brings you up to stand, arms overhead. Exhaling, hands to the heart. Once more, the same flow, listening to your breath, arms high, diving forward, Uttanasana. Inhale, long flat back. Exhale, release, finding plank pose. Full breath in here. As you exhale, choose how you lower, knees and chest, or the whole body in one piece. Inhale, heart lifts, kneecaps lift, whole body energizes, head hangs as the hips float high. 3 breaths in Adho Mukha Svanasana. Feel the soles of your feet spreading, widening, same with the palms of the hands. Soft knees, look forward, step or hop your feet to reach the hands. Inhale, coming up to stand. Exhale, hands to the heart. Continuing on with a breath in, growing tall. Breath out, diving the heart forward, not getting any less tall as you dive forward. Inhale, heart lifts. Exhale, release. Right foot takes a big step back to a low lunge. let the pelvis really get heavy here. So we take a moment before moving forward to establish this low lunge. Back of the neck is nice and long. Gently shifting your weight forward, back knee finds the floor, back toes point. Press down to rise up, knee down crescent. Deep breath in, heavy, heavy pelvis. Imagine the pelvis filling with a thick substance so it gets drawn closer toward the floor. As the head gets lighter, from here, bringing your left hand to the right wrist, just as we did standing. Reaching up and over to the left side. As you reach to the left, really root down through your right knee and right foot. Counterbalance. Inhale through center. As you exhale, hands find the floor, back toes tuck, back leg lengthens. Taking your hands for a walk around to the right side. Gonna swivel onto that right heel. The left heel might leave the floor, that's totally fine. Big toe pointing up to the sky, kneecap pointing to the sky. We're in this sort of Spider-Man position here, ready to pounce. If possible, bringing the arms nice and wide, staying up on your fingertips, and then settling the pelvis down toward the floor. If it helps, you can lower the gaze. Keep that right foot really flexed and engaged. Deep breath in. Widening the pelvic floor, feeling all of those muscles around the floor of the pelvis, softening and widening. And walking your hands back around to the front of your mat, low lunge, coming up onto fingertips. Squeeze the inner thighs together as you start to straighten the left leg. If it's available, you can let the head hang down toward your shin bone for one breath. Inhaling. Full breath out. Bend that front knee. Low lunge, step into a plank. Moving through your vinyasa variation. Always choosing what suits you in the moment. Moving with your breath. Inhale, right leg steps forward between the hands. Take the first few moments to establish your low lunge. The left heel, the back heel, is pressing back, as if there's a wall behind you that you could rest or even push your heel into. Gently sliding your weight forward, back knee bends and lowers. Press down to rise up. So that pressure downward is what allows for this weightlessness in the head and upper body. Gently holding onto the left wrist and drawing this big arc up and over to the right side. As you do so, to keep your balance, maintain contact downward with the left knee and foot. Coming through center, hands find the floor. Back toes tuck, back leg lengthens. Take your hands for a walk around to the left side. Swivel that left foot. So the left heel will find the floor now. Right knee bends deeply. That right heel may or may not stay on the floor. You're up on your fingertips here. If you can, see if you can really bring the fingers wide. So your right elbow or upper arm is sort of supporting your right knee. From here, let your weight go. Let gravity draw you down toward the mat. If it helps, you can add the head down a bit as well. Active flexion of the left foot. Keep that left leg alive. Walk the hands around to the front of the mat. Find the low lunge, coming onto fingertips. Squeeze inner thighs together like they have magnets on them. Straightening out the right leg. Deep breath in. Exhale to bend. Step your left foot forward to meet the right foot. Forward fold. Give the head a little shake. Shake out any stale air. If you notice you're holding the breath, let it go. Soft knees. Inhale up to stand. Exhale, hands to the heart. Deep breath in, arms lift. Exhale, diving forward. Inhale, long, flat back. Exhale, release, left foot steps back to a lunge. Exhale, gliding forward, back knee lowers. Point the back foot, arms high. This time, if you'd like, you can lift the gaze, finding a little back bend. As you exhale, hands find heart center. Hooking the left elbow across the right knee for a twist. Back toes tuck. Press your left heel. So remember that
imaginary wall behind you. You're gonna this time kick your heel into that wall. Deep breath in. Full breath out. Listen carefully. Leave the left hand just where it is, left elbow. Gonna slide the right elbow just closer to your belly on the inside. So now 2 elbows are on that front knee. Place the palms facing down. Imagine there's a surface right under the palms. Pressing your palms into that surface, float your heart forward. Almost like a little cobra pose with the upper back. Let that go. Leave your right elbow where it is. Left hand comes around to the left hip point. Back heel lowers. You're gonna open up into a variation of a side angle. So your back foot is flat on the floor. You can leave your hand on your left hip or slide it up to your rib cage and really peel the heart open. Keep your right elbow where it is. Exhale, look down. Slide the left arm in between your right elbow and your belly. Again, imagine a floor beneath your hands. Push down a little cobra with the spine. Exhale, hands find the floor. Walking your fingertips forward. We're going to bend the back knee. Springing forward toward a standing split. So the leg does not have to be higher than 90 degrees. If it wants to float up a little higher, of course it can. Head is nice and heavy. As you exhale, we're going to bend the standing leg, bend the upper leg, cross the left knee behind the right knee, coming almost to a little ball. Press down to arrive back in your standing split. Twice more, bend both knees, really hug the knees in, crossing at the knees. And release, leg up to the sky. Last time, knee comes in. This time, step the left foot down onto the ball of the foot. Floating the arms back behind you, take a big, dramatic bow over your front leg. Press down to stand up. 2 arms are high on the ball of the left foot. And again, take this big bow forward. Exhale. Let the head hang. Hands find the floor. Slide your left foot far back to that low lunge. Plank pose. Moving consciously through your vinyasa variation or directly to down dog. Full breaths, active breaths, generous breaths. With your next exhale, the left foot steps forward. Gliding that left knee forward, back knee finds the floor. Press down to rise up. This time maybe the eyes lift as well. Soft shoulders, soft jaw. Exhale, hands to the heart. Hooking right elbow over that left knee for a twist. Tucking the back toes. And then press your heel into that imaginary wall behind you, leaving an indentation in the wall. Keep breathing generously. Keep the right elbow where it is, pressing down. Slide the left hand close to the belly until both elbows are on the front thigh. Press down, cobra with the heart. Leave the left elbow where it is. Right hand comes to the right hip point. Back heel finds the floor as you open the whole belly to face into the space. Keep that deep bend in your left knee. Maybe slide the hand up to the rib cage. Whatever helps you feel this sense of opening in the side body. Sliding the right elbow now between the belly and the left elbow. Back heel lifts, so you're in a crescent lunge. Press down, lift the heart. And hands find the floor, walking your fingers forward. Bending the back knee and springing forward into your standing split. Continuing deep breaths. Head is nice and heavy. As you exhale, cross the right knee behind the left knee. Both knees bend deeply, crunching into a little ball. Inhale, lift the right leg high.
Exhale again, knees in, everything condenses. Inhale, everything expands. Last time, pressure inward. This time the right ball of the foot finds the floor. Release the hands, floating them back like wings behind you. Let the head hang. Press down into the ball of the right foot to come to stand. Arms are high, nice and tall, proud. Exhale, bowing forward. Hands find the floor. Right foot finds the left foot. You're in your forward fold. Give the head a little shake. Soft bend in the knees. Inhale all the way up to stand. Exhale, hands to the heart. Fingertips continue downward. Tadasana, mountain pose. Inhaling and exhaling. With your next exhale, sitting deep, arms scoop down to come up. Utkatasana, chair pose. Exhale, diving forward. A long flat back with an inhale. Stepping or floating through your vinyasa or coming directly to Adho Mukha Svanasana, down dog. Deep breath in and a full breath out. Inhale, heels lift, look forward. Step or hop your feet to the hands. We're back to Uttanasana, forward fold. Let the head stay nice and heavy. Bend the knees. We're going to kick the right heel toward the sits bone. So knee to knee, perching like a little bird here with one leg bent. You can stay here or walk your fingertips out in front of you to come toward a flat back. If you have a block or a prop, you might want to place your hands onto the block or prop. From here, you can either stay or start to lift that back leg. Reach around with your left hand, fall over if you're me. Find that back foot. Whee! And then kicking your foot into your hand. So you're just opening the right quadricep muscle. Wherever you are, let go of that back foot. Step your back foot far back behind you, low lunge. Spiral the back heel to the floor, Virabhadrasana 1. Warrior 1, so your back foot is flat. Your front knee is bent. Arms are high overhead. If it's comfortable for the shoulders and the neck, bring the palms of the hands together. Hook the thumbs around one another. You can lower the arms slightly on an angle. And maybe the gaze lift. So you're looking out over your thumbs. Little toe of the back foot pressing into the mat. Releasing the thumbs, arms are wide. Press down into the front leg. Spiral left toes to face the side wall. Hug the heels in a little closer. And we're going to sit down into a goddess squat. Elbows bent. Knees bent. Deep breaths. Either staying here or with your next inhale, staying low, lift the heels. Exhale to lower. Option to take this twice more. And lower once more. And lower. Right hand comes to the right hip. Left fingertips reach far out in front of you. If your block is there, you can use it. Springing forward into Ardha Chandrasana, your half moon pose. Option to float the right arm high. Keep breathing. If you're comfortably balanced here, you can either try floating that left hand so that it's not in contact with your prop or the floor, and or binding the back leg. Or maybe a combination of the two, or any other variations that you'd like to practice. Or you're thinking, Leah, you're crazy. If that's the case, you can stay just where you are. Exhale, release any variation you found. Look down, step or float back through your vinyasa, or coming directly to downward dog. As you arrive, deep breath in, knees bend, look forward, step or hop your feet. Coming up to stand through your deep Utkatasana, chair pose, knees bend. Bend even further, come to stand, hands in front of the heart. 3 breaths here to center yourself, to find the rhythm of your breath if you've lost it, or maybe it's shifted. Fingertips reaching down in Tadasana. Exhale, sitting low, chair pose. Next exhale, diving forward. Long flat back, and either moving through your vinyasa or directly to down dog. As you arrive in down dog, knees bend, look forward, step or hop your feet. Arrive in Uttanasana, forward fold. And we'll kick the left heel toward the sits bones, knee to knee. So the inner thighs are really zipped up. You can stay here in this forward fold variation or walk the fingers forward. Balance is not my thing today. For somewhat of a flat back. Staying here, or maybe reaching around with the right hand to find, I hope you're not watching me, to find the left foot, and then maybe kicking that foot into the hand. Deep breaths. And let the foot go wherever you are. Bend the standing leg, take a big, wide, low lunge. Back heel finding the mat. Press down into your back foot to rise up, Virabhadrasana 1. If you took it on the first side, you can hook the thumbs together, palms together, and lift the gaze. Pressing into the little toe of your back foot, let the hands release. Standing up tall, 2 straight legs. Flip the right toes to face the side wall. This time, interlace the fingers behind the back. Slide shoulder blades together, heart lift. Exhale, diving forward, bent or straight legs. See if you can keep the heels of the hands pressing toward one another. So letting the wrists kind of come to this right angle flexion is a slightly different activity. We're really trying to keep the palms of the hands pressing into one another. And see how that affects, or see how that changes your experience. Exhale, release the hands first gently over the pelvis, down toward the floor. If you have any swaying that feels good, find it. With a soft bend in the knees, will come up to stand. Arms reach overhead. Turning the right toes to the front of the mat. Left hand finds the hip. Diving forward, a big bold dive into your half moon pose. Left arm floats high. And whatever variation you played with on the first side, you can play with on the second side. Maybe it's a bind, maybe it's floating the right hand away from your prop or the floor. Maybe it's playing with your gaze. Whatever it might be, know that you're in the comfort of your own home. Not that I could see you anyway, but my back is to the screen. I know that doesn't matter, but it feels important. Maybe it's because I can't see you seeing me. Anyway. Let it go. Look down. Moving either to a vinyasa or directly to down dog. And as you're ready, knees bend, look forward, step or hop the feet to Uttanasana. Let the head go. Softening the knees, coming all the way to stand. Arms are high, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, draw the hands to Anjali Mudra, prayer pose. Inhaling, arms high overhead. Exhale, diving forward. Inhale, long flat back. Exhale, stepping to downward facing dog. Keep the feet together, heels and toes touching. Zip up the midline of the legs. Inhale, the right leg lifts high to the sky. Let the hip open, right hip on top of left. Maybe you bend that knee. Heel falls toward the pelvis. A little puff of air underneath your left armpit keeps your shoulders nice and square. Extend the right leg, step the foot forward, low lunge. Back heel finds the mat. Cartwheeling the arms high, warrior two. Looking over right fingertips, inhaling and exhaling. Inhale, flip the right palm to the sky. Exhale, reversing. Keep that front knee bent. So we have this big side bend, C curve in the spine, keeping this reverse position. Press into the front foot, straightening your front leg. Reaching through your right fingertips. Inhale all the way to stand. Cartwheel the hands down, back heel lifts. Right leg floats to the sky, one leg down dog. Exhale, knee floats toward the nose, coming toward a plank pose. Inhale, right leg lift, down dog. Once again, knee to nose. Last time, inhaling. Exhale, knee to nose. This time, keep the knee bent. You're gonna cross the right ankle over the left thigh, flex the foot. As the hips lift, you come to a figure four. So your right foot is flexing, your right knee is fanning open to the side. Feeling a bit of a stretch in that left hip perhaps. Exhale, look forward, keep your right knee bent. Float the right knee behind the right wrist. Setting up for your half pigeon. Scoot your left leg behind you, pointing the back toe. If you want, you can look back. Make sure that that leg is more or less centered behind you. Coming up high onto fingertips. Let the weight of the pelvis surrender. That same sense of the bowl of the pelvis filling with something heavy and thick. If you need a little padding of some sort under the right hip, you can find that. And then walking the hands forward. Arriving wherever you feel comfortable, staying for a series of 5 breath cycles. So counting your own breath, it will be different than mine. Sometimes the counting of the breath also helps you stay conscious, helps the mind from wandering. So even if it feels sort of insignificant, count each inhale and each exhale. When you've reached 5, hands find the mat, back toes tuck, finding your way to down dog. Heels and toes tight together, zip up the midline of the legs, left leg reaches to the sky, left hip opens up, and that knee bends, keeping the shoulders square. Right heel's reaching toward the mat. Extending left leg, exhale, step forward, low lunge. Back heel plants down, supporting you for warrior two. Left palm flips high, reverse the warrior. So this same C curve, right side of the body slightly shortening as the left side lengthens. Press into the left foot, straightening the left leg. This gives you the space to reach your left fingers even further back behind you. Inhale to stand, cartwheel the hands down. Back heel lifts in a low lunge, left leg floats up to the sky. Exhale, knee to nose, shifting forward. Inhale, extend up and back. Use your breath, really pumping the breath. So this is pretty physical, late in the practice. Maybe you're sweating, maybe you're breathing heavily like me. Really pump the breath. This time the ankle crosses over, flexes the foot. We arrive in this figure four. See if you can really peel your left knee open, open, open. As the sits bones poke up to the sky. Exhale, shift forward, left knee behind left wrist. Scoot that right foot back behind you. Preparing for your pigeon pose. Inhaling. And when you're ready, slowly descending. When you've arrived in your final destination, counting those 5 inhales and exhales. After 5 breaths, press into the hands, come to sit. We're gonna roll onto the
left hip. Swing the legs gently out in front of you for Baddha Konasana, bound angle pose. Sitting up nice and tall in the sits bones, holding onto ankles, or if it's available, you can take your first 2 fingers around the big toes. And as you exhale, hanging forward over the legs. Breath full and deep. So as we start to cool down now, no more very active postures. So you can start to deepen the breath even further to fill all those nooks and crannies in the body with fresh breath. As you're ready, release the feet, rolling up to sit. Gently help your knees together. Extend the legs in Dandasana, your staff pose. Maybe moving the flesh away from the sits bones so you're really perched high up on the sitting bones. If your hamstrings are a bit short, you might have the tendency to roll back here. An option for you would be to sit up on something, a block, a book, and or to place a rolled or folded blanket or pillows underneath the knees so that you don't have to press the legs downward in order to stay seated. Inhale the arms high overhead. Exhale, diving forward. Either once again, hooking your first 2 fingers around the big toes if they reach. If not, you can let the hands rest outside, along the outside of the leg, wherever they land. Ankles, shins, thighs. So important here that wherever you are, whether you're flat across your legs or still pretty vertical in the spine, let your chin float toward the chest. So we give this impression of softening the front of the body. And over time, this will lead to a deeper forward fold. It might not happen today, but just start working that direction by inviting the softness, the availability in the front of the body. And in turn, the length at the back of the body. Let the feet go rolling up to sit. Hands on either side of the pelvis. Scoot the hips forward. We're going to come to an altar pose. So your fingers face the pelvis, floating the pelvis high. So it's like a tabletop position, but flipped upside down. Either with the chin to the chest, or you can let the head float back off the spine. Continue deep breaths. And as you're ready, lower the pelvis with the help of the hands, rolling onto the back. Take a moment just to feel the skull land on the floor. Maybe shift your head side to side. And we'll take this same action with the knees. So the head comes back to stillness and just let the knees fall right and left. So at these 2 ends of the spine, the head and the pelvis, encouraging mobility and softness in the joints. Coming back through center, we'll take 1 longer back bend. If you prefer a few shorter and maybe more active back bends, you can, of course, opt for that. I'll lead you through a bridge pose, but if you have another back bend that you'd like to practice safely, you can do so. Slide the shoulder blades together. Press down into hands and feet to lift the pelvis. So here's where we'll start with the hands wide. Neck is long, plenty of space at the base of the skull and the throat. If you'd like to come a little deeper, you can interlace the fingers. Keep the sides edges of the hands on the floor, stepping your shoulders even closer into one another. Option to stay here. If you want to come a little higher but find also a little bit of support, you can bend the elbows, slide the thumbs underneath the sacrum. So you're actually kind of sitting on your hands with your pelvis, pressing your hands up into the sacrum. Knees stay parallel to one another. Keep breathing deeply. Wherever you are, take another breath or 2. Maybe you're already on your second back bend, if you're taking shorter ones.
And make sure you enter and exit the poses consciously. Let the hands go, round down through the spine. Coming to a sacrum release by either walking your feet wide and letting the knees fall together, or bringing the soles of the feet together and the knees fall open. So you have those two choices. You can rest the hands wherever they feel most comfortable. Maybe that's somewhere on your body or alongside your body on the floor. Active breaths. And here's a really nice moment to feel this surrender, which is a word I use a lot. But here's really where I feel it, where I can let the muscles completely release from the bone. There is absolutely nothing that you need to muscle here. There's no effort needed. If you feel there is something that you kind of have to hold or pay attention to, you can adjust your position so that you really are supported. Your skeleton is supported in a way that you don't have to think, you don't have to engage. And with that sort of disengaging of the muscular body, maybe you let the same happen with the mind. So it's not shutting down, it's also not pretending that thoughts aren't existing. It's not denying anything. But find maybe just this little bit of space, these little moments of clarity. Gently hugging the knees into the chest. This can be active, you can rock and roll a little bit, or you can really just stay still, feeling the knees sinking in toward the body. We'll come to a happy baby to end. Feet lift up high, reaching for the outer edges of your ankles or your feet. The knees open wide, pelvic floor nice and wide. Right knee falling toward your right armpit, left knee toward your left. Perhaps you rock a bit, or again you can indulge in that stillness and silence in the body. And as you're ready, coming back through center, let the feet go. Take this opportunity to take any last actions, a twist, an inversion, repeating anything that feels necessary. When you're ready, you can come to your Shavasana. Letting the toes fall open naturally, the palms fall open naturally, so the same is true here. There's nothing that's being held, nothing that needs to be tended to. So that you give yourself this complete freedom, not only physically, but mentally as well, to let go. Staying for as long as you can, or as you'd like, in your final resting posture, in your corpse pose. You can pause the video. I will leave you here. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope you come back next week. Thank you.